Okay, welcome back to another episode of Ash After Dark. I'm your host, Allie Scott, and today I am so excited because I have literally one of my favorite people in the world. I have one of the artists at Ash she is a top stylist. She can make sourdough. She has two children. They have chickens. She literally is honestly an angel. We say she is like the best at the salon. And also somebody who is my dear friend. Please welcome with me, Lauren Patterson.
Thank you. That was quite the introduction. I love you, and I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
Here with me. It's so good. So Lauren, first, we have wanted to podcast together for quite some
Mhm.
time. I'm just so honored that you're here with me. Lauren,
Thank you.
how long have we known each other?
I would say 2018.
Yeah.
So how many years has that been?
So that's been eight.
Yeah,
Yeah.
8.
8 years. And we first met because Lauren was actually a client of mine.
It's true. I I've done hair for now coming up on 11 years, but I feel like I would go to other stylists to get my own hair done. And it was kind of a way of like free education for me because I would like study what they were doing to my hair. And I was really picky about who did my hair because, of course, I care about that. So I pretty much stalked Allie on Instagram and I found that she did beautiful work, beautiful blondes, and I was blonde at the time. So I went to Allie as a client. And then one of my appointments in her chair, I was like, oh, yeah, I just signed up for this education training. It's called MBR. And I was like, I'm going to be out in California in like April. And she was like, oh my gosh, I'm going out like the week after you.
Yeah, it was like the first week of May
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah. Mine was April. So I'm kind of sad we weren't in the same class, but it was fun because then each time we went to California, I feel like we had a familiar face and knew each other.
Yeah, so it was really fun. And then so we started um yeah, by getting to know each other throughout the salon. You were in a suite and then I was
Mhm.
booth renting at the time. And then we just kept going and going throughout our extension journey. We were in a mastermind together.
Mhm.
And then it was probably, let's see, so that was in the spring. In the fall is when I decided to open up a salon and move 45 minutes away from where I was working. And then it was kind of crazy, but then we got so when was that? So that was October is when I decided to open up the salon. February it opened. And then when did you start working at Ash?
I think it was like a month after it had been open,
Yeah.
maybe.
We got an application because so we always start everybody as an assistant at the salon, and we had posted, hey, we're looking for an assistant. And then I remember getting an application from Lauren Patterson, and I was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
I was just also just like, wait, she would want to like come in here with us. Like, I
Mhm.
was just so excited about that. And so Lauren applied. She, of course, she still did start. You still did do some
Yeah,
assisting.
I did.
Yeah. I
I
didn't.
feel like we didn't have our assistant program set up the way we do now, so
Correct.
I was kind of a weird exception. But yeah, I remember you texted me and you were like, Lauren, I was expecting to get like an email and everything, and you were like, Lauren, I got your application. And you're like, we'd love to have you as a stylist here.
Yeah. And I was like, I knew her for years and just, I know who she is. So I was so excited about that. So it was amazing. And then that was like the start of the journey. That was like 6 years
Mhm.
ago,
Yeah,
which is so
time has
crazy.
gone by so fast.
But here's the thing is because I just have to brag about you. Because here's the thing is that Lauren now, so in 2025, she's one of Ash's top stylists. She is our consistent queen. She does it all. You do the sourdough. You freaking bring it to your clients. You give a great client experience. You're one of the most requested stylists inside of the salon, one of the hardest to get into. And you didn't get there just for nothing. So
No.
kind of take us back a little bit first. And first tell us like, why did you even start hair in the first place?
Yeah, I mean, hair is something I have always just had a passion for ever since I was a little girl. And I remember when like YouTube first came out, that was what I was watching, was like all the hair tutorials, makeup tutorials, and then I'd practice on my friends. And I got to the point where I used to dance, and my mom was like, you're better than me at doing hair and makeup, so why don't you do your own for dance
Yeah.
competitions? So that's kind of how it started. And then I did my cosmetology education in high school. So, which I feel like was a huge blessing because by the time I was doing hair, I was 17. I felt like I had a huge head start. And I remember I went to an open house at the cosmetology school and just to walk through, see if it was something I liked. And they were doing like finger waves on a mannequin, like old 50s, where you have to like form it with like the gel. Like I had never done anything like that before, but they were just having people like test it out. And I remember one of the students was like, I'm gonna go get my teacher. Like I did some, and she was like, you have to come look at this. Like it was the best they had seen. I don't want to like brag about it or
No, but
anything,
it's
but
it's a part of your story.
yeah, they could just see like, oh, this girl knows what they're doing. And I found out you have to like test in to get into hair school. So I tested and it honestly, I loved it way more than I thought. I actually am someone who I never really loved school. I was never really super good at it. I had to work really hard. But the minute I started hair school, I was like acing all my tests. I could remember things super well. And I noticed like, oh, when you're passionate about something, you retain that information and it becomes fun. It's not just work.
That's seriously kind of a lot like how my hair school experience was. I didn't do super well in school. Well, I did only because I would do the work I needed to, but I didn't really retain or understand what anybody was talking about.
Yeah.
And so when I got to hair school, it's something I always knew I wanted to do. And so I actually kind of excelled at it. I didn't miss a day. It was so much fun. So I feel like once you kind of know, hey, this is
Mhm.
what I want to do, it
Yeah.
really makes it, attainable.
Mhm.
Okay, so talk to me about because didn't you do like the skills program, like Skills USA and all that?
Yeah,
So
I
kind of tell
did.
us what that is.
So, for those who don't know, Skills USA is a program. I don't know if they do it just in like tech type of schools, like what I went to, because I did it in cosmetology, but you could do it for like firefighting, like nursing, like whatever profession you're going into. It's kind of just like a friendly competition in your own workforce. So, I did it at my school, and you just had to do like a haircut, a color, an updo. So I brought in one of my aunts for like my haircut model and I gave her like this really cute color. We did a drastic change from like long hair to like a pixie. And so I feel like that drastic change also maybe helped me within the competition. But I got first at my school, which meant I went to state. So then I competed against all the other girls within the state of Utah. And I took first in Utah. And then I went to nationals and it was hard. Like we did a men's cut, women's cut, and some of them were like ugly, hard haircuts, but you had to make it look exactly like the photo. And then I did this updo, and it's not like the basic updos, Like created like a flower in the front, a flower in the back. Like it was very artistic.
Wow.
Yeah, it
I
was
never did the
cool.
skills, but I know that like the girls that did go to skills, like they
Mhm.
were talented.
Yeah, it was hard. Like even now, I'm like, I don't know if I could even do that. Like it definitely took reps. But I took fourth at nationals, which I was so bummed because I didn't quite place, but I still am proud of like
Yeah.
taking fourth.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say, and the fact that you even did it.
Yeah,
Like that seems so scary to me. So the fact that you actually did it, that's incredible.
it was an amazing
So you did really good
experience.
at hair school. You enjoyed it. So
Mhm.
what even got you into extensions?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like in the beginning, I was kind of the jack of all trades. I did lashes, I did men's cuts, everything with women's hair. I even did nails, and I truly do enjoy doing everything. But I feel like I had to kind of hone in. Like, I actually started getting really busy with lash extensions,
Hmm.
and I liked it, but I felt like it was different than hair. It didn't give me like the same satisfaction that I get with doing hair. And I think, like, honestly, I just noticed maybe on Instagram that extensions were trending more. And I've always had really amazing hair naturally that I never thought I would be an extension client. So even going into my extension class, I was like, oh, I'm not going to get hair extensions. And everyone, I mean, my hair was kind of shorter, but
Mhm.
people thought I had like one row.
Oh yeah, because your hair is naturally it's beautiful.
Yeah, when a lot of people do my hair, they're like, Lauren, you're so lucky. And I'm like, oh, it's not what it once was because I've had like postpartum hair loss and stuff, but I do feel pretty blessed. But I'm kind of a freak when it comes to like the health of people's hair.
Hmm.
I'm super picky about that with my hair and my clients. I tell every one of my clients that sits in my chair, I'm like, your hair health is my number one priority. So I'm never going to push it past those limits. So with extensions, I feel like they used to have a really bad rap of just being unhealthy, super noticeable. And so I started researching like what are the healthiest extensions out there. And I landed on MBR and I saw that their education program was really good. So I was just like, okay, I gotta do it. And that's how I got started with extensions.
It's so cool though too that it's just because that is something that I know about you that I'm glad that the listeners are also learning is something that is so important to you is the health of people's hair
Hmm.
and the health of your natural hair. Because that's aligned, I'm very similar where I'm like, hey, I'm not going to push it past these things. And for me, the health of people's hair is like, because I personally have really brittle, fragile hair. My hair is not at all, my natural hair is not at all like Lauren's hair. And so, but because of that, like it does, like I've had like some hair trauma where I've gotten it, over processed and stuff. Just those little things. My hair is just so fragile. And so that's something that I also align with, just like Lauren does, of like, we really care about the hair, the natural hair health. And sometimes extensions aren't, long term forever. Like, of course, we're going to have it because it is our career.
Hmm.
But, we've also had other clients where they've worn it, their hair's actually gotten better, and then they've been able to take it out. And I feel like being
Yeah.
able to like actually care about what people's natural hair is, that's
Hmm.
huge.
No, I agree. Yeah, and I feel like I did go through a little hair trauma myself.
Mhm.
I was once a bleach and tone, and I feel like that color process just kind of pushed my hair to the point where I mean, I didn't have hair like melting out or anything, but when it was wet, it was more stretchy and fragile. And I was forced to chop it. And I think that was before I started coming to
Mhm.
you. And that's when I got really picky about who I went to. Cause I mean, I think a lot of our clients that come to us have been through some sort of hair trauma, and that's why they're so particular. And that's why I also like to voice that to my clients of like, your hair health is my number one priority. Because even if I gave them a beautiful color, and extensions can hide a lot. Like a lot of clients that come to us, their hair is already damaged. So I feel like we're having to deal with that and correct it. But even if I do beautiful extensions, if I damage your hair, like you're not going to be happy. So I've just realized that that has to be like the number one priority.
Absolutely. So tell me now. So, okay, you've excelled at hair school, you did extensions, and then it's been, like 8 years and you still are doing extensions. You're a specialist, and now you are like, I can say this with confidence, like you're a top 1% stylist. What
Yeah.
kept you? Because I know, but not everybody
Mhm.
else knows. Like your dedication, your motivation, your consistency, it is unmatched. It's honestly so cool to watch and it inspires me. So tell me, especially because you're a mom,
Mhm.
life is not perfect for anybody, but like, how do you keep going every day? How do you keep being consistent? Like, how, I don't know, what are some of your tips and tricks? What makes Lauren be this top percent? Like, what makes any stylist become a top 1% stylist?
No, that's a good question. And I remember when I was starting my extension class, that's one of the questions they ask you is like, why are you here?
Mm.
What's your why? And it really made me think. And in the beginning, like I would say my why has changed a couple times. I heard other people say like, "Oh, it's for my kids and stuff," and I didn't have kids at the time. So I was kind of like, "Well, I want to excel my career and stuff and kind of branch out more." And I mean, another reason why I did fall in love with extensions is just because the transformations you see and I like, I'm sorry, mom, if you're listening to this, but I remember when I first said I was learning extensions, my mom was like, oh, don't get wrapped up in that crowd of like all those bougie girls and stuff. It's like, what? You think I'm going to become bougie? But I think since then, my mom has actually noticed because of my transformations and what I post online that, like, wow, like hair can really transform someone and it changes their life. Like the connections I've made with my clients, like when people tell me about who are your friends, I literally think
Yep.
of like my coworkers and my clients. Like they sit on my chair for hours, see me every 6 weeks. I really have gotten to know them and I've seen their confidence transform. And because I've experienced it for myself, I've seen how much hair transformed me. So I think that's something that gets me going is like the people I meet and relationships I've made. But I do, at the end of the day, it is my job and I'm doing this for my kids. Like they motivate me so much. And I think, I don't know, I just have kept it in my head. Like I give myself no choice. I'm like, I have to do the work or else it's not going to work. I'm not going to be where I'm at. So I think mentally, I just don't give myself a choice
I
not to
kind
do
of
it.
love that though. It's just like it's this or it's nothing. It's
Hmm.
like, and so those hard, because especially like at the salon, like we have like a really high standard, and Lauren always upholds that, always, every single week, every single day. And beyond that too, like she moves her, like, because it is like being a stylist, like it's a lot on your body. And like
Hmm.
Lauren, like you take really good care of your body. You also are really good about what you put into it.
Hmm.
It's just this whole thing. And it's just so inspiring to be like, wow, look, that you're every single day you're able to push through. And I'm just like, because there's days where I'm like, whoa, this is so hard. I don't even want to go to the gym today. I don't want to like go to work. And I just feel like you are just that epitome of an example
Hmm.
for other people and other artists and other stylists, that it is just like, no, you can actually be able to like be a mom, and you can also be a top stylist, and you can give these incredible transformations. But that's something that I also want to talk about of, you know, kind of the I heard the same thing from my family of,
Hmm.
oh my goodness, like going into especially the beauty industry, it could be this very vain thing or wrapped in a certain crowd.
Hmm.
And that's like the biggest thing that I learned with hair extensions, where it really also isn't. And also wanting to be beautiful and wanting to feel good on the outside also just makes you, I believe, a better person on the inside
Yeah.
too. Like if that's something that's really important to you, it's important to me. And
Yeah.
I know like, yeah, I have lash extensions for a reason, because I
Hmm.
feel like I will show up better 100% of the time. Same with my hair extensions. But
Hmm.
with hair extensions in particular, and the beautiful guests that we have the privilege of working with, it is really just more transformational than I think anybody would think. I think when you think of hair extensions, you think of a young girl just being like, "Oh, I'm so vain," or "I just want to have this long, beautiful hair and da 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 because I want this attention." It's not that at all.
No,
It's
it's
literally not.
no.
I feel like we've had people who have had cancer before.
Hmm.
We have people, most of my guests have had some type of autoimmune disease where if it's affected their hair. They've had some type of hair trauma where their hair has gotten fried off. And being able to just give somebody a service that literally nobody else can do, it's kind of magical.
It is. Yeah. We get to live through like instant
Mhm.
gratification every single day. And
Yeah.
I love that. I mean, I know we live in a world of instant gratification and it's not always a good thing. But like you were saying, for like we do get a few younger clients and people who maybe don't necessarily need it, they want it.
Mhm.
I mean, you could say I'm even one of those clients, even though I've had postpartum hair loss, hormonal changes, and my hair's not the way it once was. Sure, I could like chop it and just go with that. But I choose to have hair extensions because they also protect my natural hair. I don't have to do as much heat. And they do make me show up a better person. And I think there's nothing wrong with that. It's the same way as you were saying, like, I fuel my body. I take care of my body because it makes me feel better. I have a better mood. I show up as a better person. Same thing with hair extensions. And it really just, like, I could cry. I've had people cry in my chair
Mhm.
because of the pain they've been through with, like you were saying, sicknesses. And I just think hair literally is one of the first things you notice about someone.
Yeah.
So being able to give that back to them, it's like life changing. I
It's
love it.
life changing. And it's also something too that I feel like because that's something that people notice about others,
Hmm.
it's also the first thing that you notice about yourself.
Yeah.
And I feel like we don't even talk about this enough of how much also stress comes into hair loss.
Mm.
Like, but that's where I know like my beautiful guests that they're going through a super hard time, you'll when you're taking out the extensions, there's a little bit more shed and they're like, "Oh, how's my hair shed?" Because they're like, "Hey, I'm prepping you. I'm going through a divorce," or "Hey, I got in a big fight with my family," or,
Hmm.
"There's this I have a job change. I've got a life change and I'm really stressed out." So, hair's usually the first thing to go, and so just to be able to give somebody where, maybe in the background they're having like some hair loss, but what we're able to provide is a service that nobody can even tell on the outside, which is kind of honestly phenomenal.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's amazing.
So tell me, what is like one of your favorite parts about being a stylist?
Mm, that's hard. I mean, like working at Ash has been life changing for me. Like, I just think of it as my home.
Hmm.
And I even had clients say to me when I started having kids, they're like, "Oh, yeah, you could just like do it out of your house." And I'm like, no, like, and I have worked in a suite before, so I know what it's like from the back end of like running a business. And for me, I'm like, this time in my life, I just don't want to do that. Like working at Ash is so nice. If I'm gonna do hair, that's where it's gonna be.
Yeah.
And I just feel like getting to know you, like I have to compliment you. You are a phenomenal boss. I feel like you're so good at reading people and their energy. And I feel like that's why our team is so amazing. Like I've had some close friends and people be like, "Okay, be honest with me," or like, "The girls at Ash really catty and stuff." And I'm like, "No, honestly." I'm like, "If you have drama, you got to leave it at the door." And I feel like you're a safe place that people come to and talk to if they do need to get stuff off their chest. But like I love being a stylist at Ash for all those reasons. I feel like we are literally family. We attract the most amazing clients. Like when I think of all my clients, I'm like, I literally love every single
Mhm.
person. I know some people are like, oh, I have that Susie that I just can't stand. She comes every Friday. But I'm like, no, I love all my clients. And I love being a lead because
Mm,
I've always loved teaching, even from a young age. The salon I first started in, we didn't do a lot of education. So I took it upon myself to like look up tons of YouTube videos. And back then it was a lot harder to find like free content.
mhm.
But I just kind of taught myself a lot and I did things that other stylists weren't willing to do. Like I just knew I needed more clients and experience. So I was like, yeah, give me the fashion colors, give me whatever. So I had stylists in my first salon who were there for like 20 years coming over being like, Lauren, teach me this technique. And it was so cool and fun for me. And there's been moments I kind of have imposter syndrome
Mm,
because it's hard now too on social media. You just compare yourself to so many other people.
yeah, I get that.
And sometimes, like, the more you learn, you also realize the more you don't know.
Hmm.
But I do love that in our salon, we are a teaching salon. We have our assistants that I get to teach them every single day. And it really is just, it's such an amazing environment. I love that, like,
Environment.
work doesn't feel like work.
I know, I agree with that. I don't feel like I like dread going into work. I love what I do. That helps a ton. And then I like the people that I'm with.
Hmm.
That helps. That's huge.
It's huge.
Love the people that I'm with.
Hmm.
And I also do think the whole thing of being so when you're talking about being a lead and then being an assistant, so obviously you have worked your way to the tip of the top, okay, the top. And then we have our assistants who usually those are newer stylists and they work directly underneath us. Um, and we teach them and we're very hands-on with them as well. And then eventually what the process that they go through is they'll learn side by side with us. So they're really getting a lot of education. And then they go off on their own. And you've had quite a few people who have assisted you who have like they assisted
Yeah.
you and then they've been able to start taking their own clients and then
Mhm.
fly on their own. Tell me like what makes you, because that's the other thing is some people they are just good teachers and then there's other people where it's just like I don't want to have to spend the energy to explain this to you. What also keeps you just in this, just being such a good educator to our internal team?
I mean, one thing I always try to think of, um, just in general, like in life, but especially at work, is like I try to put myself in their shoes. And I know at work, like the assistants are there to work. They do want to learn and they want tasks to do. But at the same time, like I can't just dump my whole plate on them. I have to realize that like we're more of teammates. And in the beginning, because I worked for so long without an assistant, it was hard for me. I didn't know what to really have them do. It was also hard to kind of like give my trust to someone.
Mm.
And like the first time I had someone like foil ahead with me, I was like, oh my gosh, like, are they doing it right? But I feel like we just start them with baby steps. Like, we usually start people just like passing us foils, pass us the color brush, then clean our bowls, but them just being able to watch us and I'll kind of explain myself. And then once they are ready to like co-color with us, this is also for the client having like peace of mind. I'll be like, okay, show me that foil. And if I need to like have them tweak anything, I'll tell them that, or I'll be like, oh my gosh, that's perfect. Great job. I feel like, I just look at the example you've set of how to teach someone, and I honestly have just kind of followed your lead. But I feel like what I guess kind of sets me apart is being a good teacher is just putting myself in their shoes and thinking of like, okay, is that too much work on them? Are they having a fun time? Like, I want them to be a part of the appointment and experience as well.
No, I love that. And I feel like that's what also gives such a good camaraderie with like the lead and the assistant. And I just know like I will always tell the girls because we have these salon assistants. So they kind of will just be like, float with whoever each day. And I have every single week, I at least have two people message me individually. Can I please be with Lauren Patterson? Can I
Mhm.
please be with Laura Pat? Can I be with Laura Pat? So it's just
I
so
love
cool
that.
of what a good, like such a good teacher. And just, it's so cool to just also see your journey.
Mhm.
Okay, so tell us, here's the thing what we have to go into because you have two babies.
Mhm.
Tell us, what has also been maybe like the most rewarding, but also the most challenging part of being a mom, balancing motherhood and working.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely is harder. Like, I remember before kids, I could have all day to post. Like, there was no strict schedule or structure. And then I learned really quick that kids thrive off of schedule and structure. And I also want to be a present mom. I don't want to be on my phone all the time around my kids.
Yep.
But again, like I was saying, it's a non-negotiable for me
Yep.
that I'm going to get my homework done every single week. Because I mean, we haven't even really gone over that, but at Ash, like you set us to these expectations and standards of like, we want to do 5 posts every week, and then we share it to an album, and we send a gratitude stack to another member, just little things like that. So, it's just a non-negotiable for me, so I've had to find, like, a time and routine, and sometimes it means posting it really late at night when the kids are down, and my kids aren't really on, like, a strict schedule, so I feel like that has been a challenging part, but I don't know, everything kinda works out. It's
Yeah.
interesting.
I think too, what I'm hearing is, even when you might have just different curveballs, like with
Mhm.
kids, and especially like my little boy, he had the heart, still to this day, he's 11, still has a hard time like going to bed at a certain time and like that strict schedule. Like I can try as hard as I can, but there's also sometimes that, hey, it didn't work out that he's in bed by 6 or 7 p.m. and I have like 3 hours without him. That just sometimes doesn't happen. So what I'm also hearing is that you're just really, really good at adapting,
Mm-hmm.
of just like, hey, you know what? This is what the situation is, and you just adapt.
Yeah.
But also, of course, that's a challenge of not having all the time, space, energy, that when you get off of work, it is just a free for all, because that's not
Mhm.
really being a mom and working, and especially working mom. Yeah, it's just not the same. But I just admire so much, because I love, like, I feel like on the weekends, you're so present.
Mhm.
You're always doing stuff with them. And that's what's also amazing and awesome about our career, is that you can do both.
Mhm.
It is possible. And I
Yeah.
think it's cool to see that you can also be a top stylist and you can also still have a personal life.
Yeah. I mean,
You have shown how to do that.
that was actually one huge reason why I wanted to get into extensions, because
Mhm.
it is kind of obvious that there's that potential to make more money. And within my own career, I was like, oh, that'd be amazing. And then I feel like I finally, I don't know, it's like each year you kind of just, I feel like I hit a milestone working at Ash. Like we used to work super crazy, like
So crazy.
every single day. And for me, some stuff took time, even though you are saying like I was super consistent. I've always posted almost every single day. Like, I've done everything people tell you to do, but it's not like the clients just came rushing in right away. Like, it took me time to build a clientele, but I didn't let that stop me. I was still super consistent. And it's like one day it all just kind of, you notice it starts transforming.
Hmm.
So, I mean, I went from with my first baby, I was working 3 days a week, which doesn't sound like a lot, but they were like 12+ hour days.
Yep.
And after I had my daughter, I was like, you know what? I don't think I can do that again. Like, I have kind of lived through some trial and error, and I don't regret the way I did things because I've learned from it. But with her, I realized, okay, I want to be home at dinner time and, even on my working days, be present with them. So now I just do 3 days a week, two clients a day. And it is like the perfect schedule. And I also feel like work for me, because it is fun and we're social with each other and our clients.
Mm.
It is kind of an outlet for me with my kids.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Like I honestly look up to those stay-at-home mom.
Yeah, I do too.
I think it's hard. Like my maternity leave, I did take a little longer than my first one. That's another trial and error.
Yeah.
And it's hard to know in our
Yeah.
industry. Like most companies,
You have maternity leave, you have paid time
yeah.
off. And then as a stylist and being in the beauty industry, it's you get paid on the service.
Yeah.
So
So it's
that's
like
what
if you're not
working,
working, you
you're
don't
not
get
making
paid.
money.
So yeah,
Yeah, we're like,
hairstylist maternity leave is hard. And with my son, I was like, I don't know. I was like, one of my educators said that she took like a month off, so I guess I'll take a month off. And people were like, Lauren, you're so crazy.
"Mm,
So I don't feel like that was enough time. I was great. Like, luckily, I feel like my body bounces back and I felt great at work. But with my daughter, I was like, I'm going to try 8 weeks, I think is what I did. But it honestly was like the perfect amount of time. I felt like
mm,
ready to come back. And yeah, I think for me, having that balance of like expressing my creativity with hair, but then also being a mom, it's like the perfect world for me.
yeah. No, I agree. I think I love that I can be a mom as well. And then I also have hair. I do feel like that's my happy place. I
Hmm.
love being behind the chair. And it's social. And then it's also just so fulfilling because you're
Hmm.
also transforming other women.
Yeah,
It's so cool.
I love it.
I,
I love
I
what we
love that.
do.
Okay. So tell us what, I mean, kind of fun, but like, what's next for you? Like, what do you have any like dreams? I love talking, and this is just
Hmm.
who I am. I like to talk about my dreams and my visions, and I like talking about where I'm going. So
Hmm.
here you are. You started hair school. You were excelled at that. You've excelled at everything that you've done. Do you have any like fun goals that you want to do? Anything that, or are you like, hey, I'm making sure that I am also just being super present, being an amazing mother, amazing stylist? Like, tell us what's next for Lauren.
I love this question, and I'm kind of scared saying this, but I'm using it as accountability. So my next step in my career is I actually want to become a hair educator. I love working behind the chair, but I also love teaching.
Hmm.
And I have kind of found that I want to be present with my client and give them the best experience. So sometimes with my assistants, I feel like I can't give them 100% one-on-one teaching experience, but I do love that part of doing hair. So I'm in the works of being a hair educator. I want to start first with just like a color class,
Yeah.
maybe work my way up to extensions.
And what's amazing though too is that you have, again, you've taught so many artists already. Like
Mhm.
we've had so many stylists come through our salon and they've worked one-on-one with you. So that's what's so cool about it is like actually you have taught people and you have been able to multitask. And so it's just like that next step.
Mhm.
I'm so excited for you.
I'm so excited. It's
So
kind of scary, again, like I was saying, imposter syndrome, but I don't know. I feel like inside you just know when you're like called to something.
yeah.
And I love where I'm at now, but
Mhm.
I do love challenging myself.
Yeah.
So,
And that's the thing too, is like I feel like I have like all of these different things that I always want to do as well. And it's just like saying it to myself, saying it to my friends, working towards it, saying it to the world, working towards something. It's just such a fun thing to do. And I'm excited to see where you go. And I just love so much that, again, you're just like, can you imagine like 5 years ago, or even like what, 8 years ago when we first met,
oh
that this is where we
gosh,
would be?
no, no. Oh, I would be pooping my pants.
Right? Okay, so if you could tell, if you go back 8 years ago to when we first met and let
Mhm.
that stylist, like that girl who was right there, that was like about to start her extension education, that was, still working in the suite, that wasn't a part of a team, like what would you tell, what's a piece of advice that you'd give her?
I would just say trust the process, be consistent, and be confident.
Mm.
I think confidence is something I have actually struggled with like my whole growing up. Again, why like extensions have kind of let that shine through a little bit more. But I think the older I've gotten, I've kind of realized like we individually are so much in our own heads, like no one else really cares. And I've even
Yeah.
thought, like, even if I try teaching and it flops, or I'm like, oh, I don't really like this, I still am gonna like pat myself on the back and be like, you know what? You challenged yourself. You tried something different. So I think I would just tell my younger self, like, just take some risks and go for it and do it with confidence.
I love that. And that, you know what? And that piece of advice that you're giving to that younger self, that's also something that if you think of, so I like to say, okay, what would I give Allie years ago? What advice would I give her? But then on the flip side, what would my future self almost tell me now?
Mm,
And it's like even the same thing. Or like, okay, yeah, no, just have that confidence, take some risks, and just be
mhm.
confident.
I love that.
Love that. So where can everybody find you? What's your Instagram handle?
Okay, so it's lar.pathair, Laurpatt. Lar is short for Lauren. I feel like all my homies call me that.
Yes.
It's my little nickname.
So keep a lookout. Laura Pat Hair, that is her Instagram. She is, again, an incredible stylist. She's been a lead artist at our salon. She has been one of our top artists for as long as I can remember. She is our OG gal. And also, she has really fun things that she wants to do in the work. So, especially if you're a stylist, make sure that you go and give her a follow and just kind of watch out for any upcoming opportunities you might have with Lauren.
Well,
So,
thank you guys. Thank you for having
yes,
me.
thanks for coming. And all my listeners, thank you for joining in. And I hope you have a wonderful evening and good night.
Good night.